Hi, good morning, and welcome to Read with Chide Day 38. And today we are starting off in the book of Leviticus. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to finally be in the book of Leviticus, which means I'm one book closer to the book of Joshua. Um, yeah, how's your morning starting? How did you find this page? Someone shared the link with you, you stumbled on it, you saw us live and decided to join. Let us know in the comments. Also, please drop your comments as we read along, as we go through whatever thoughts, questions, or whatever else comes to your mind. Please drop your comments so that we actually have a discussion as we go. Um, Getting right into it, the book of Leviticus is technically anonymous, right? I'll just read what I have here in the introduction. So, the evidence from the Bible and from Jewish and Christian traditions attributes it to the lawgiver Moses. Moses was the chief recipient of God's revelation in the book of Leviticus. Elsewhere, Moses is said to have written down revelation that he received. Um, about 1 year passed from the time Israel arrived at Sinai until they departed. During that time, Moses received the covenant from the Lord, erected the tabernacle, which is what we just read in Exodus, um, erected the tabernacle, and received all the instructions in Leviticus in the early chapters of Numbers. This block of material is a continuous narrative extending from Exodus through Leviticus to Numbers. Since these events occurred in just 1 year and yet received the largest amount of space in the books from Exodus through Deuteronomy, Moses showed the special importance of the Sinai revelation to the writing of the Pentateuch. The repeated expression, the Lord spake unto Moses, throughout Leviticus leaves no doubt that its instructions were of divine origin, not the creation of Moses. Yeah, so let's go right ahead and begin to read the book of Leviticus. Um, Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1. And the Lord called unto Moses, spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a meal without blemish. He shall offer it on his own voluntarily will at of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord, and the priests Aaron's sons shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall flay the burnt offering and cut it into his pieces. And the sons of Aaron the priests shall put fire upon the altar and lay the wood in order upon the fire. And the priests Aaron's sons shall lay the parts, the head and the fat in order upon the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. But his inwards and his legs shall be washed in water, and the priests shall burn all on the altar to be a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And if his offering be of the flocks, namely of the sheep or of the goats for a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring it a male without blemish, and he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward before the Lord, and the priests Aaron's sons shall sprinkle his blood round about upon the altar, and he shall cut it into his pieces with his head and his fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. But he shall wash the inwards and the legs with water, and the priest shall bring it up all and burn it upon the altar with a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And if the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Lord be of fowls, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or of young pigeons. And the priest shall bring it unto the altar, and wring off his head, and burn it on the altar, and the blood thereof shall be wrung out at the side of the altar. And he shall pluck away his crop with his feathers, and cast it beside the altar on the east part of the place of the ashes, and he shall cleave it with the wings whereof, but shall not divide it asunder. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar, upon the wood that is upon the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. Now, you need to be ready to hear things like this all through the book of Leviticus, because the book of Leviticus is about instructions, 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 instructions. So yeah, prepare your mind. Leviticus is a short book though. It has, I think, 26 chapters. Let's see. Yes, it has 27 chapters. So after that, we'll go to Numbers. And Numbers is similar to that, but it also has some stories too. And after Numbers, then we're good. We can then go to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is more about stories than all these instructions and stuff. Then after Deuteronomy, we'll finally get to Joshua. And yeah, Leviticus chapter 2, verse 1. And when any will offer a meat offering unto the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense thereon. And he shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests, and he shall take thereof his handful of the flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof, and the priest shall burn the memorial of it upon the altar, to be an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And the remnant of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons, and it's a thing most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. And if thou bring an oblation of a meat offering baken in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. And if thy oblation be a meat offering baken in a pan, it shall be of fine flour unleavened, mingled with oil. Thou shalt part it in pieces and pour oil thereon. It is a meat offering. And if thy oblation be a meat offering baken in the frying pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And thou shalt bring the meat offering and that is made of these things unto the Lord. And when it is presented unto the priest, he shall bring it unto the altar, and the priest shall take from the meat offering a memorial thereof, and burn it upon the altar. And it is an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And that which is left of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons, and it is a thing most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. No meat offering which ye shall bring unto the Lord shall be made with leaven, for ye shall burn no leaven nor any honey in any offering of the Lord made by fire. And every oblation of thy meat offering shalt thou season with salt, neither shall neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from the meat offering. With all thine offerings thou shalt offer salt. And if thou offer a meat offering of thy first fruit unto the Lord, thou shalt offer for the meat offering of thy first fruit green ears of corn dried by the fire, even corn beaten out of full ears. And thou shalt put oil upon it, and lay frankincense thereon. It is a meat offering. And the priest memorial of it, corn thereof, and part of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Leviticus chapter 3, verse 1. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offer it of the herd, whether it be a male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering and offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat that covereth the inwards and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the two kidneys and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, each shall he take away, and Aaron's sons shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt sacrifice, which is upon the wood, which is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And if his offering for a sacrifice of peace offering unto the Lord be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offer a lamb for his offering, then shall he offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of the offering and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons shall sprinkle the blood thereof round about upon the altar, and he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering an offering made by fire unto the Lord. The fat thereof and the whole rump, it shall be take it shall he take off hard by the backbone, and the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto the Lord. And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of it, and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about, and he shall offer thereof his offering, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat that covereth the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priests shall burn them upon the altar in the food of the offering made by fire of a sweet savour. All the fat in the Lord is the Lord's. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. May God bless the reading of his word. That brings us to the end of today's reading. Quite short, yes. The chapters in Leviticus are typically not long. There are a few chapters that are long in the book of Leviticus, but they're typically short chapters, especially the first few chapters. So I know these first three chapters were short. Chapter 4 is also short. Let's see. Yeah, relatively short. Not as short as these first three, but relatively short. Chapter 5 is short. 6 is not so short. 7 is short. 8 is not so short. 8 is short. 9 is short. 10 is short. 11 is not short. 12 and 13. 12 is short. 13 is not short. You get the gist. Anyway, again, these are instructions, and what God expects them to do with sacrifices. Oh, this is how you make this sacrifice, this is how you make that sacrifice. And I'm sure you're wondering, why are these things important? Why not just shall bring it and shall kill it, shall put it on the altar and shall burn it? But these things are these instructions are important because, one, for some of these things, the remaining part of the meat is supposed to be for the priests to eat, right? Remember that the priests were not given land or whatever. They were supposed to eat from what is brought to the altar or to the temple, right? And then, other instructions. So you can go ahead and do your deeper research on the book of Leviticus. Why were there specific instructions about how to sacrifice, what to sacrifice, and all of that? And let us learn together. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for reading your Bible this morning. Join me again in the evening at 9 p.m. And yeah, see you to do.